One introduction RAWSEP view: the United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only. For home building and furniture building, for just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM 2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree, but it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM 2.5, and PM 2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM 2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM 2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lungs, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM 2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom, the eco-design wood stove, and international convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP view: purple air PM 2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM 2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM 2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.
Episode 57DX March 4, 2025 Senator Elissa Slotkin Democratic rebuttal to Trump's speech, followed by RAWSEP list of topics of Trump's speech. The Democratic rebuttal to the Trump speech before Congress came from Sen Elissa Slotkin, a first-term senator from Michigan. She spoke for about 11 minutes. Here is a transcript of her remarks as prepared for delivery. Hi everyone, I am Elissa Slotkin. I am honored to have the opportunity to speak tonight. It is late, so I promise to be a lot shorter than what you just watched. I will not take it personally if you have never heard of me. I am the new senator from the great state of Michigan, where I grew up. I have been in public service my entire life because I happened to be in New York City on 9/11 when the Twin Towers came down. Before the smoke cleared, I knew I wanted a life in national security. I was recruited by the CIA and did 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military. In between, I worked at the White House under President Bush and President Obama, 2 very different leaders who both believe that America is exceptional. You can find that same sense of patriotism here in Wyandotte, Michigan, where I am tonight. It is a working class town just south of Detroit. President Trump and I both won here in November. It might not seem like it, but plenty of places like this still exist all across the United States, places where people believe that if you work hard and play by the rules, you should do well, and your kids do better. It reminds me of how I grew up. My dad was a lifelong Republican, my mom a lifelong Democrat, but it was never a big deal because we had shared values that were bigger than any one party. We just went through another fraud election season. Americans made it clear that prices are too high and that government needs to be more responsive to their needs. America wants change, but there is a responsible way to make change in a reckless way, and we can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country and as a democracy. So that is what I am going to lay out tonight, because whether you are in Wyandotte or Wichita, most Americans share 3 core beliefs: that the middle class is the engine of our country, that strong national security protects us from harm, and that our democracy, no matter how messy, is unparalleled and worth fighting for. Let us start with the economy. Michigan literally invented the middle class, the revolutionary idea that you could work at an auto plant and afford the car you were building. That is the American dream, and in order to expand and protect the middle class, we have to do a few basic things. We need to bring down the price of things we spend the most money on: groceries, housing, healthcare, your car. We need to make more things in America with good paying union jobs and bring our supply chains back home from places like China. We need to give American businesses the certainty they need to invest and create the jobs of the future. And we need a tax system that is fair for people who do not happen to make $1 billion. Look, President Trump talked a big game on the economy, but it is always important to read the fine print. So do his plans actually help Americans get ahead? Not even close. President Trump is trying to deliver an unprecedented giveaway to his billionaire friends. He has on the hunt to find trillions of dollars to pass along to the wealthiest in America. And to do that, he is going to make you pay in every part of your life. Grocery and home prices are going up, not down. And he has not laid out a credible plan to deal with either. His tariffs on allies like Canada will raise prices on energy, lumber, cars, and start a trade war that will hurt manufacturing. And farmers, your premiums and prescriptions will cost more because the math on his proposals does not work without going after your healthcare. Meanwhile, for those keeping score, the national debt is going up, not down. And if he is not careful, he could walk us right into a recession. And one more thing, in order to pay for his plan, he could very well come after your retirement, the Social Security, Medicare, and VA benefits you worked your whole life to earn. The president claims he will not, but Elon Musk just called Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. While we are on the subject of Elon Musk, is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts? No oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data. We need more efficient government. You want to cut waste, I will help you do it, but change does not need to be chaotic or make us less safe. The mindless firing of people who work to protect our nuclear weapons, keep our planes from crashing, and conduct the research that finds the cure for cancer, only to rehire them 2 days later. No CEO in America could do that without being summarily fired. Okay, so we have talked about our economic security. How about national security? Let us start with the border. As someone who spent my whole career career protecting our homeland, every country deserves to know who and what is coming across its border. Democrats and Republicans should all be for that, but securing the border without actually fixing our broken immigration system is dealing with the symptom, not the disease. America is a nation of immigrants. We need a functional system key to the needs of our economy that allows vetted people to come and work here legally. So I look forward to the Trump plan on that, because here is the thing: the world today is deeply interconnected. Migration, cyber threats, AI, environmental destruction, terrorism. One nation cannot face these issues alone. We need friends in all corners, and our safety depends on it. President Trump loves to promise peace through strength. That is actually a line he stole from Ronald Reagan, but let me tell you, after the spectacle that just took place in the Oval Office last week, Reagan must be rolling over in his grave. We all want an end to the war in Ukraine, but Reagan understood that true strength required America to combine our military and economic might with moral clarity. And that scene in the Oval Office was not just a bad episode of reality TV, it summed up the whole approach to the world of Trump. He believes in cozying up to dictators like Vladimir Putin and kicking our friends like Canada in the teeth. He sees American leadership as merely a series of real estate transactions, as a Cold War kid. I am thankful it was Reagan and not Trump in office in the 1980s. Trump would have lost us the Cold War. Trump actions suggest that in his heart he does not believe we are an exceptional nation. He clearly does not think we should lead the world. Look, America is not perfect, but I stand with most Americans who believe we are still exceptional, unparalleled, and I would rather have American leadership over Chinese or Russian leadership any day of the week, because for generations America has offered something better: our security and our prosperity, yes, but our democracy, our very system of government, has been the aspiration of the world, and right now it is at risk. It is at risk when a president decides he can pick and choose what rules he wants to follow, when he ignores court orders or the Constitution itself, or when elected leaders stand idly by and just let it happen. But it is also at risk when the president pits Americans against each other, when he demonizes those who are different and tells certain people they should not be included, because America is not just a patch of land between two oceans. We are more than that. Generations have fought and died to secure the fundamental rights that define us. Those rights and the fight for them make us who we are. We are a nation of strivers, risk takers, innovators, and we are never satisfied. That is the superpower of America. And look, I have lived and worked in many countries. I have seen democracies flicker out. I have seen what life is like when a government is rigged. You cannot open a business without paying off a corrupt official. You cannot criticize the guys in charge without getting a knock at the door in the middle of the night. So as much as we need to make our government more responsive to our lives today, do not for one moment fool yourself that democracy is not precious and worth saving. But how do we actually do that? I know a lot of you have been asking that question. First, do not tune out. It is easy to be exhausted, but America needs you now more than ever. If previous generations had not fought for democracy, where would we be today? Second, hold your elected officials, including me, accountable. Watch how they are voting. Go to town halls and demand they take action. That is as American as apple pie. 3, organize. Pick just one issue you are passionate about and engage, and doom scrolling does not count. Join a group that cares about your issue and act. And if you cannot find one, start one. Some of the most important movements in our history have come from the bottom up. In closing, we all know that our country is going through something right now. We are not sure what the next day is going to hold, let alone the next decade, but this is not the first time we have experienced significant and tumultuous change as a country. I am a student of history, and we have gone through periods of political instability before, and ultimately we have chosen to keep changing this country for the better. But every single time we have only gotten through those moments because of two things: engaged citizens and principled leaders. Engaged citizens who do a little bit more than they are used to doing to fight for the things they care about, and principled leaders who are ready to receive the ball and do something about it. So thank you tonight for caring about your country. Just by watching you qualify as engaged citizens, and I promise that I and my fellow Democrats will do everything in our power to be the principled leaders that you deserve. Good night, everyone.
RAWSEP has listed the Trump speech by topic. The source of this list was a transcript of the Trump speech to a joint session of Congress on Tuesday, March 4, 2025, as transcribed by the Associated Press. First topic: movement, action, accomplishment, momentum, comeback. How? Fast, swift, unrelenting, unstoppable. Why? Successful at tax breaks for the rich at the expense of the middle class and lower class poor. Why? Spirit, pride, American dream surging. Second topic: mandate, big numbers, almost completely red-headed, in the right direction, swing. Third topic: executive orders, executive actions. How? Restore, be successful. Why? Common sense, safety, optimism, wealth. Note: George Washington is number 2. Fourth topic: the border. How? Declared an emergency. Fifth topic: Trump cannot make Democrats happy. Sixth topic: freeze on federal hiring. Seventh, Trump said he put a freeze on the Green New scam. Note that the Green New Deal was not Biden, it was an idea of Bernie Sanders during the Biden administration. Laws passed were 1. The American Rescue Plan Act and existing COVID-19 programs. 2. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act IJA, also known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law BIL. 3. The Inflation Reduction Act IRA, and the 4. The Chips and Science Act, and 5. The Safer Communities Act. 8th, end of electric vehicle mandate. 9th, return to office of federal workers. 10th, English the official language. 11th, renamed Gulf of Mexico and Denali. 12th, ended diversity and inclusion. 13th, ended trans participation in girls' sports. 14th, Trump said Biden caused the price of eggs to go up. In reality, the price of eggs began to go up because of bird flu during the second Trump administration. 15th, drill for oil and gas to solve an energy crisis. 16th, Doge found waste in government. 17th, Social Security lists 36 million people from ages 110 to 119. 18th, we will balance the federal budget. 19th, Trump will introduce the gold card for wealthy people to pay $5,000 to buy their way into U.S. citizenship. 20th, Republicans will vote for tax cuts for the wealthy. 21st, the gas-powered auto industry will boom. 22nd, retaliatory tariffs on April 2nd, 2025. 23rd, get rid of the CHIPS Act. 24th, Jeff Denard works in a steel plant in Alabama. 25th, Haley Ferguson is a foster mother. 26th, Allison Berry became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer with the help of Allison. The Senate just passed the Take It Down Act. 27th, Laken Riley was killed by an illegal alien. 28th, Roberto Ortiz is a border control agent. 29th, DJ is a 13-year-old with brain cancer who wants to become a border control agent. 30th, Kennedy Jr., and autism. Kennedy is linking toxins and autism. 31st, Alexis Nunnery is from Houston, and her 12-year-old daughter Jocelyn was murdered by 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela. 32nd, federal workers have not been showing up to work. 33rd Stephanie Diller is the widow of Jonathan Diller, a New York police officer was murdered a year ago by a criminal who had 21 prior arrests. 34th Farmers may have an adjustment period to tariffs. 35th Reclaim the Panama Canal. 36th Take Greenland. 37th Jason Hartley is a senior in high school. He will attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. 38th During the second Trump administration, additional hostages were released from Gaza. 39th Hostage Mark Fogel was released from Russia. 40th Helen Compertor is the widow of firefighter Corey Compertor, who died in Butler, Pennsylvania in July 2024 during the Republican assassination attempt on Trump, where Trump sustained a pierced ear.
One introduction. RAWSEP view: the United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only for home building and furniture building. For just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM 2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry, and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burn tree. But it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burn tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen, and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM 2.5, and PM 2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM 2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burn tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM 2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM 2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom. The Eco-Design Wood Stove and International Convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP view: purple air. PM 2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM 2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM 2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.